Step into the world of decay, abandonment, and chaos. The story of an urban explorer starts here, at the beginning. Welcome to the podcast you've been looking for all along. This is No Tracers. Here, we take only photos. We leave only footprints. And remember, leave no trace. Welcome back to the No Tracers podcast. My name is Kay, just the letter K. I'm known as No Tracers on TikTok, No.Tracers on Instagram, and No Tracers Urbex on YouTube. Welcome to the show. If you're new, hey, I hope you stick around. I hope you like this. If you're a veteran listener, please leave a rating and feedback. I would love to know what you think about the show. If you do leave a rating and feedback, please take a screenshot of that and DM it to me at no.tracers on Instagram, and I will actually mail you a signed photo print of an abandoned place I have explored as a way of saying thank you for supporting the show. If you would like to support the show, there's a couple ways to do so. Before I get into this episode, I just want to make things super easy for you guys and talk a little bit. This is a solo episode, by the way. I don't have a guest today because I have something I need to talk about, but we'll get into that here in a second. First of all, I want to let you know that I am opening my email for your stories. If you don't necessarily want to come on the No Tracers podcast, but you have a story to share, I'm going to start sharing some of those stories at the beginning or at the end of these podcasts, or I'll just do a full episode every once in a while of listener stories. I got this idea from the podcast Morbid. I just started listening to it, and they do listener episodes where their listeners email them stories and they share the stories on their podcast. So I thought this would be a really cool idea and a way for you to share your stories about urban explorations. You can send them in anonymously. You can send them in with your Instagram username if you want people to go check out your stuff. The email address is contact@notracers.com. Super simple. Again, that is contact@notracers.com. You can send me stories. You can send me photos with the stories if you would like to. If you do send a photo with the stories, I'm probably going to put that on my Instagram and with the audio of your story so that people can check it out on Instagram and TikTok so that I have these stories to share. I think this would be a really cool way to share some, spooky stories, some fun stories, some injury stories, basically any kind of story that you have from an abandoned place, or if you know of a story of an abandoned place, I would love to hear that. Also, if you have guest recommendations, if you think I should specifically talk to someone on this podcast, please also hit me up at that email address. Again, contact@notracers.com. Or you can DM me at no.tracers on Instagram with those recommendations. I love hearing from you guys. I get a lot of really cool stories, and I feel like I should start sharing them on this show. So that's what we're going to do, contact@notracers.com. Also, if you go to notracers.com, that is the website for the show, for my urban exploring stuff, and pretty much anything and everything you want to know about urban exploring. Just wanted to let you guys know that I am working on a second book now. I do have a photography book out called No Tracers, an Urban Explorer's Diary. If you guys want to get a copy of that book, you can go to justtheletterk.com/notracers. There's also t-shirts and hoodies and hats and backpacks and duffel bags and all kinds of cool stuff on that website. But if you are interested in supporting me as an artist, as a creator, I am teaming up with a former guest of this podcast to create a book. I'm not going to tell you guys anything else until that book is ready to be launched for pre-orders because I frankly don't want anyone to steal the idea. So that's something to look forward to in the next couple of months. We're working on the book right now. It's super sick. This book is going to change my world. It's going to change the community of urban exploring, and I'm very, very excited for that. Also, at that email address, contact@notracers.com, if you have any tips for urban explorers that I haven't shared that you would like to share, that you think would be beneficial for this show, please hit me up with those as well. I always love sharing more tips and tricks for urban exploring with people. And yeah, last thing before we get into this episode, I do need to thank our partner, Liquid Death Water. If you've never heard of Liquid Death, well, you are probably new to the podcast because I talk about it every episode. But Liquid Death is my partner on this podcast, and they supply me with amazing Austrian mountain water. It's fantastic. They have 3 flavors. They have Buried It Alive, which is a berry flavor, Severed Lime, which is a lime flavor, and they have Mango Chainsaw, which is obviously a mango flavor. They also have a regular sparkling water as well. So if you guys are into water, still sparkling, or if you're looking for mixers for your drinks, I don't personally drink, but if you do and you're looking for mixers that are healthier than soda, try some flavored water, sparkling water. It's delicious on its own and apparently really good as a mixer. Thank you, Liquid Death. If you guys haven't heard of it, here's an ad for you in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to a new kind of experience that is not for the faint of heart. A new kind of water, straight from the Austrian Alps, packaged in beautifully rugged aluminum cans. So if you want to stand out, if you want to murder your thirst and give back to the planet, give Liquid Death a try. The only thing that stands between you and the Reaper is a can of Liquid Death. Not for the faint of heart. So yeah, go to liquiddeath.com and use code JustTheLetterK for 10% off your order of Liquid Death Mountain Water. You can order 1 case, you can order 50 cases. If you manage a bar and you guys are looking for a better alternative to plastic bottles, you can order a bunch of cases of Liquid Death. It comes in aluminum cans. You can recycle them. You can give them to a homeless person to recycle them and make some money back. They also donate a percentage of their sales to cleaning up the ocean. So Liquid Death is super cool and I love working with them. All right, so let's get into the purpose of this episode. As you can see, the title of this episode is Finding Gear in Abandoned Places. So where is this coming from? I recently had a phone call with somebody and they let me know that there is an urban explorer out there that found a memory card in an abandoned place that he was exploring. And he has been posting those photos from the memory card as if they're his photos, which is ridiculous. So I just addressed this on my TikTok and Instagram, No Tracers. I made a post and I talked about this and I was like, I need to talk about this in the podcast. I think this is super important because this is something that must happen more than the one story that I'm being told. Because if one person's doing it, it means that more people are more likely than not doing it as well. So we know that people steal photos all the time on Instagram. I heard a story recently about somebody that posted someone else's photo. That photo got featured. Turns out that photo was actually someone else's photo that they just stole off of their Instagram and reposted it, claiming that they took that photo when in fact they had never even been to that location and they just stole that photo off of this smaller account's Instagram and, like I said, claimed it as their own. And the photo got featured on a bunch of Urbex feature accounts. It has since been taken down because people were talking about it and blowing up this dude that stole the photo. So that is not okay. That happens all the time. But this is like next level. So the story goes, this dude was exploring an abandoned place and came across a memory card, okay? This could have happened for a number of reasons. Somebody maybe popped out their memory card to switch memory cards, set it down and forgot to pick it back up, or maybe went to put it in their pocket and it just like missed their pocket and fell on the floor. I don't know where this memory card was located, if it was on a floor, a table, a desk, like where, I don't know where it was. It probably fell out of their backpack, their pocket or something, or they just like misplaced it. Whatever the case may be, this person decided to take that memory card, which is fine. Like if you find a memory card, take it and then use Instagram and TikTok to try to return it to that person that owns that memory card. See, this is the point of this whole podcast, and I'm going to keep reiterating it over and over and over again. But to go back to the story, this person found this memory card, went home, put the memory card in their computer. That memory card was full of Urbex photography. This person decided then, instead of trying to return the memory card to the person that rightfully owned it and took those pictures, which you could have done by posting the photo on Instagram and been like, yo, I found this memory card. Here are some of the photos on it. Maybe post like a carousel of like 10 photos, 4 or 5 to 10 photos, however many you can put on Instagram these days, and say, I'm trying to return this memory card to the rightful owner so that they can have their images back. Instead of doing that, which is the right thing to do, this fucking asshole decided to post the photos over the past like year So over the past year, this person has posted someone else's photos on their Instagram claiming that they took them, which is madness. Can you believe that somebody out there is doing this kind of stuff? And this is where I wish I had a co-host so I could have someone bounce this back off of me so that you could say, like, I don't know, devil's advocate. But there is no devil's advocate in this situation because you're literally stealing someone's photos and saying that you took them, which is totally wrong. It's very frustrating. When I heard this story, I was like, what the actual fuck is this person doing? Like, what a piece of shit to do something like this and steal someone's photos. Like, that's insane. But like I said, this probably happens more often than we know about. And I just heard this story. So this has been over a year this person has been posting these photos. I know who they are. I know their Instagram. I'm not going to blow up their spot just yet because there's another story about the same person that needs to be told more than this story. But I need to make sure that the people involved are okay with me talking about it because they are victims of harassment. And I think that there needs to be like a whole episode about that. But for now, we're just going to talk about the gear thing. So the point of this episode is if you find gear in an abandoned place, whether it be as minuscule as a tripod or something like someone's memory card, a camera, a GoPro, if you find someone else's gear in a bando, I believe you should try to return that piece of gear to somebody. I heard recently of another story of somebody that found a camera in a bando and they posted a photo and they were like, I found this camera, finders keepers. And then the Urbex community went for them, like dogpiled on top of them and was like, fuck you, return that to the person who owned it. Where'd you find it? Blah, blah, blah. And they got it. I think they got it returned to the proper owner at the end of the day, which I hope is the case. I was given a piece of gear from a tour that I was on. It was a camera lens. It was left on a stage. The stage manager came, found me the next day and said, hey, is this your camera lens? I know that you were on my stage all day that day. Did you perhaps misplace this lens? I said no, but I'll find out whose it is. So I posted on social media and I posted that lens and I tried to return it to the proper owner of the lens. Never found out whose it was, so now I just have this lens, and if anybody ever comes to me and says, yo, that was my lens, I will gladly return it to them. If they can prove to me that it was their lens. Like, I know where it was, like, the whole situation. So, yeah, now, when you find gear, you should always try to return it. Like, take the upper ground. Take the higher ground. Don't be an asshole. Don't be a piece of shit. Like, that's not yours. Like, somebody paid for that gear. Somebody took those photos on that memory card, bro. Like, you should want to return that to the person. Like, if it was your memory card and you lost it in a bando, wouldn't you want your shit back? It's just like, it baffles me that people do stuff like this. And I mean, like, everybody is their own type of person. Everybody has different personalities. I get that. People that go into abandoned buildings are a very special kind of person. Like, we are not normal people that do this. But we're not assholes. Some of us are. Some people that explore abandoned places are assholes and take advantage of other people and do some horrible shit. But the majority of us are good people that just love decay and love photography and love exploration. Like, we're in it for all the right reasons, but some people out there are definitely taking advantage of the situation that they're in and the positions that they're in, which is not okay. This is going to be a short episode, obviously. I just really needed to talk about this situation because I think that it's insane that this person is out there posting these photos frequently, might I add, claiming that they're their photos when in fact they are not their photos. And I think something should be done about it. But I don't know if I'm the person to do the thing about it because I have this platform and this podcast that you love and listen to. I don't know. What do you guys think? Please let me know. You can hit me up at that email address, contact@notracers.com, or you can shoot me a DM or whatever. Comment under this post on Instagram. If you find a piece of gear in a bando, should you keep it or should you try to return it to the person that owns it? That's what I want to know. Let me know down in the comments because I feel like this happens all the time and it needs to be talked about more. But yeah, this person is literally taking the photos he found on a memory card in a bando and posting them saying that they're his photos when in fact they are not. So yeah, I think it's crazy. Let me know if I should put them on blast, basically. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of the No Tracers podcast. I really do appreciate you guys listening. Thank you so much for coming back. Like I said, my band Matriarchs is going on tour, so I might be a little spotty with uploads over the next couple of weeks. Like about a month, I might be kind of absent, but I'm trying to backlog episodes so that I have stuff to upload while I'm on the road. That's the ideal situation, so hopefully I can still make these happen. If you want to come on the podcast, hit me up at no.tracers on Instagram or contact@notracers.com. Send in your stories about urban exploring. And go pick up some Liquid Death water. They're going to be fueling my band while we're on tour. Use code JustTheLetterK on liquiddeath.com for 10% off your order. I will talk to you guys very soon with another episode of No Tracers, the podcast. Stay strong, keep enduring, go out, go explore something, and remember, leave no trace.